All right, what's going on, everybody? Isaac Fleischer here, and welcome to another iHoopsFL interview. Now, before we begin, make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at iHoopsFL. I post all these interviews, all the best clips, anything like that. Excuse me, is on my Instagram at iHoopsFL. And for you guys, if you want to see any of the other work that I've done around the world of basketball, I also post all the articles I've written for a company down here in South Florida, along with some recent recruitment info I've been getting about some of these guys I've interviewed. But anyways, enough about me. Let me bring on our guest right now. What's going on, my guy? How you been?
How you doing, man? I'm good.
Man, how you, man? That's a server. I just cannot get over that with the whole, I guess tornado warning, anything like that. I mean, how are you? Funny story, like my brother wears glasses, and when there was a tornado warning, I was like, we got to run because we don't have a basement. Like, luckily for you, I mean, if I had a basement, I wouldn't care that much, but there's no basements in Florida. So when there's a tornado warning, I mean, if a tornado went through my house, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's not going to be as good as if I had a basement. So that's why, I guess I'm a lot more scared. So I'm like, we all got to go to the bathroom. My brother, he agrees with me. And he was like, I don't know, I was probably 14 and he's 6 years younger than me. So that's whatever. He was, I don't know, 8 or something like that. And then he's like, yeah, let's go. I'm waving my arms around and I knocked off his glasses and they broke. On the floor.
Yeah.
I was so scared. I don't know how you're able to handle that.
Yeah, it was just a warning. It wasn't I don't think it was anything like bad.
Yeah, but a warning means it could kind of it could come between that time. It's like get ready.
Yeah. It was kind of scary, but it was it was fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Would you say that's your biggest fear, or I'm not gonna?
My biggest fear is probably like snakes or spiders.
Oh, I was gonna say or one of those snakes, and I mean I'm definitely scared. I'm scared of everything, man. There's a snake,
my biggest, I'd say my biggest fear is probably snakes.
Yeah, it's definitely yeah. There's snakes here too, but luckily I haven't seen. But my brother he says he's seen one. He didn't care.
Yeah.
But luckily, I've never seen too many snakes. But I'm prepared. I know there's gonna be a day when I'm in my backyard and I'm walking and there's gonna be a snake on the floor because
that's
there's so much weird stuff here in Florida, man.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll be biking and there'll be raccoons all over the place, and I just think
right here too. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a coyote where I live in my neighborhood. I don't know how that got there.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, not the hurricane. Did you hear the tropical storm? I think it was called Ida or something like that.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, or Ida. Well, it was so we didn't get it was kind of bad. We got school off for a day, but I think it might have been Photoshop. But someone photoshopped a big alligator, a parking lot, in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I see that all the time, the alligators in Florida and stuff like that on the golf courses and everything. I see that all the time.
I mean, it's really, the stuff's not fake. It's
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, the stuff
look like dinosaurs.
Wait, what'd you say?
Some of them look like real life dinosaurs.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what they are, but it's more it's where I live specifically, because I don't live in the middle of nowhere. I live in a pretty big it's not a city, but it's ton of stuff everywhere, ton of crap, what are they called, plazas or whatever, or shopping centers. I live a normal place, but I'm pretty much the farthest 45 minutes east is the beach.
So
45 minutes west from the beach. And once you go more west from where I live, it's all Everglades. That's where all the Everglades is. So I border the Everglades.
Gotcha.
So that's why especially where I live, I mean there's stuff everywhere.
Yeah,
but not I guess not more whether it be no, I don't know what that would be if you go more to the coast. I don't know if that's called mainland or inland or
I'm just to be honest.
I don't really know. I don't really care too much. It's kind of late, but anyways, talking about some of the basketball stuff now.
Yeah.
How have you liked being a part of Team Rio?
It's been really great. I've been with them the past 2 years so far. Our coach is Coach Mike Rice. He coached at Rutgers, and he now coaches our team. He's honestly a great coach. He's known for I don't know, if you know Mike Rice and stuff like that, but he's known for yelling a lot and stuff like that. But he's honestly one of my favorite coaches. I feel he brings out the best in me when I play under him. But yeah, it's been really great playing under. They're a great program. We're in the UAA circuit. But yeah, I played for them the past 2 years and they've been great. So and they've done right by me. So yeah.
And having a coach where he said he likes yelling. Actually, so now that I'm like at the varsity level because I'm a junior.
Yeah.
First I was like I could have done varsity all 4 years because
Yeah.
I'm like a manager, but I was like, let's do JV, like stay with the guys my age. At least I knew like a few people my age that were like playing JV, so I was like, I'll just do that for 2 years.
For sure.
I
Yeah.
think it's more fun doing that.
Yeah.
Now with varsity, I'm like, my mom told me, she's like, Isaac, like you gotta get ready for the day. Like you're gonna do something wrong. He's gonna like yell at you so much. Like he loves yelling. I mean, having a coach where like is he like a mad, like aggressive yeller, or is he like more an energetic yeller? Like to talk about that.
It's like a little bit of both. I mean, like for me, like one thing I've learned about like playing under him, you have to listen to more so like what he's saying rather than how he's saying it, because he's a basketball genius. Like he knows so much about the game, and if you just follow his lead, like he won't let you down with that type of stuff. Like he sees like, different things that like other people just don't see on the court and stuff like that. So he's really like he's a basketball genius, and so for him, like he just has a different way, I guess, of telling people what to do, and that's like yelling and screaming and stuff like that. But if you listen to really like what he's saying rather than how he's saying it, it makes sense, and it's like but yeah.
Yeah, but I guess the thing is like with that, like you must have like a special like trait or skill you have to like adapt almost to like understand when someone's yelling at you. Like you're not focusing on the content they're saying. Like you're thinking the whole time, why are they yelling at me?
Oh yeah, because nobody likes to be like yelled at and stuff like that. But it's like at the end of the day, it's like when he does, it's like you have to know that like when he's yelling at you, he really only wants what's best for you. So it's like whenever he's yelling at me, it's just like all right, I just have to listen to what he's saying and stuff like that, and just follow his lead. And then yeah, but yeah, it can get kind of like hard because he's always like yelling in your ear. But it's like at the end of the day, he wants what's best for you. So. Yeah.
I guess like what I'm trying to say is if I was maybe went to your practice one time and maybe messed something up and he's yelling at me, maybe even like let's say I went to your practice for a week, maybe I'm like even day 5 and he's like yelling at me because I did something wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be I just want to be able to understand. Like I'd be too focused on like him yelling.
Yeah.
Like that, and then being able to like pull out what he's telling me.
Honestly, it's not for everybody. I mean, like honestly, like I know a lot of people that like didn't want to play for us because of that reason, stuff like that. But it's like if you like it really like some people can't handle that type of stuff. I mean, but like at the end of the day, like I guess it shows like the people who can handle it. It shows. So yeah.
Yeah, like it's honestly, it's probably nothing personal. Like you're not coachable. It's just like you can't.
Yeah.
I guess comprehend them when someone's yelling at you. I'm sure if I screamed at you this whole interview, you wouldn't understand. Like you'd be like, "Wait, what?" Like you wouldn't understand. Yeah. And just when you do like something kind of wrong, obviously it's not the end of the world, but I'm assuming like you probably don't get like in too much trouble, like and so like I'm sure in school you're not like getting suspended or anything like that. Where you're used to getting yelled at. Like when that happens, even for me, like if I get yelled at school. I mean, I could do like the littlest thing. It's like not a big deal to any teacher. But if I'm getting yelled at, like I'm like so like, I'm not like break down like crying. I'm like I have no idea what I did wrong. I mean, when that happens to you, like you said, you kind of listen, understand what he's saying, and like it's not personal. But I mean, it's like how are you able to like just develop that almost maturity where like don't take it personal. Like he doesn't mean it. Because for me, I say that straight to her.
For me, what happened the first time? I think I was in like 9th grade the first time. And this was like my first experience with him. And I messed up in a drill in like practice or something like that. And he started ripping into me. He was like, he said some things that like I'm not going to repeat right now because it was just bad. And he was just like ripping into me. And I remember after all that, like one of the older guys on the team, he said he came up to me, put his arm around me. He's like, look, one thing you got to know about playing under him is you got to listen to more so what he's saying rather than how he's saying it. And then after that, when I like thought about what he had said to me, I was like, yeah, that makes sense now. That like, because like at the end of the day, he wants the best for you, and he's gonna, ride you all practice. He's gonna yell at you all practice. He's gonna yell at you all game, stuff like that. But it's like if you're able to like take it and like comprehend what he said and then go out and do it, then he'll respect you. And that's one thing I've learned, and that's one thing I've learned how to like deal with too. Because at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know if I'm going to be playing like under a coach that's more strict and like yells as much as him, but it's like, I guess having that experience at like a young age, especially like at the high school level, definitely helped me for sure. And being able to like cope with different type of coaches and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it makes you coachable, makes you more coachable.
Yeah, and then actually that kind of led me into my my next question, because I'm sure like it's not really the worst kind of coach. Like obviously he's probably, you said like basketball genius. I mean, he sees stuff, aspects of the game.
Yeah, I personally think he's a great coach. I think he's
that no one else can tell. Like the worst coach is a coach where they're not going to tell you what you did wrong, and they're just gonna like the worst coach is like a babysitter where they just go and just let you guys play basketball and don't do anything. That's like the worst kind of coach. Would you
if they didn't yell at me, I would think they wouldn't care. So
yeah, exactly. So would you say just having that experience, even though you did kind of touch on it, like where you've almost had where he's like, this complete, like if there was a time, not a timeline, a number line of coaches, like one side's, complete yelling, like you've experienced that. And the other side's, I guess, a terrible coach. So obviously you're never going to get that when you play Division I basketball. Would you say that just having that complete, like harsh, like out from a coach, obviously genius, but it's very like aggressive kind of coach like that, you think that's going to almost be able to allow you to almost adapt to any coach out there, just because you had such an extreme kind of coach that now it's almost like, would you say any coach you could probably handle almost?
For sure. I mean, like, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't want to say like, yeah, I feel like I could play under any coach, honestly. I think once you have Mike Rice, it's like I feel like that gives you kind of like an idea of what like the college coaches are going to be like, because I feel like they're going to be the same way. Obviously when they're recruiting you, they want to like, show that they're nice and stuff like that. But when it comes down to practice, it's like coaches yell at their players at the end of the day. So it's like, but yeah, I think he's definitely helped me be prepared for like any coach that I have in the future at the college level. So yeah.
And having, a former, you said he was at Rutgers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he coached at Rutgers for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Was he the head coach or assistant coach or
head coach? Yeah, he was head coach.
Yeah. So having, I don't know if they were they always Big Ten, or is that like a new thing? I don't know.
They've always been like Big Ten and Big East, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So having,
good differences. Yeah.
Yeah. So having a Power Five, former Power Five head coach, in Mike Rice, I mean, that's a super big time in itself. But being coached by somebody where they could probably be making a lot more money and coaching for a much, bigger college team right now, unless he's like kind of old and just had to retire and do something a little bit like smaller, which maybe could be a reason. Would you maybe consider just that factor? Then you guys got a ton of great players all around you. Would you say that Team Rio is the best team in the UAA, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, for sure. I think we're the best team. I think we've been around, I think, the longest. We've had a lot of pros, a lot of McDonald's All-Americans, guys like Scotty Lewis, Brian Antoine, stuff like that. A lot of guys that went to the NBA. But I definitely think we're definitely the best UAA team, for sure.
And you talk about this so actually, just because like it is almost a time waster question, but I follow up to this. When you explained to me the difference between Team Rio and Team Rio University, how they had that that like merger, where now it's Team Rio instead of like Sports University, they combined, where now it's Team Rio University. I'm sure it's not as they just combine a name, that's it. Like obviously they combine players too. So I guess how did that like affect your team? I'm sure it was probably a good outcome, but how are you able to handle like new teammates? Probably just as skilled, if not like even better than the guys. Like how are you guys able to handle that?
Yeah, so what happened was there was Sports University, which was another good team on the UAA circuit, and there was us, Team Rio. And for a while, we were like rivals with them on the UAA circuit, and they ended up combining. So now we're Team Rio University, and so basically took all the top players from their program, all the top players from our program, and we kind of just combined them, and we had a 16 team, a 15 team, a 16 team, and a 17 team. And we just combined like all the top players from there, all the top players from ours, and yeah, it was pretty cool. We only had about because of COVID and everything, we probably only had like 2 or 3 AAU tournaments this year, but it was definitely fun playing with the guys that I was with. And yeah.
And you're saying that was fun, but I just realized, like, let's say, I'm playing for Team Rio, and all of a sudden I hear, all right, we're gonna, join with the team, always the most competitive. And I feel like you're saying rivals, but there's no way you're rivals, and all of a sudden, like, join and make, a super program. Like, do you maybe mean like you guys just play each other a lot? I guess.
Well, I think it was they called it like a rival because like in the past, they had like a lot of like these big games, these like, um, with guys like I know like I think somebody put on Sports U was like Kyrie Irving, stuff like that,
Yeah,
and
but like a big game. Like there's a difference between playing a big game and like a rival game. Like that means like you guys hate each other. I mean that's what a rivalry is. It's not.
I guess yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I mean, there was just like some games like you could look up on YouTube and stuff like that of Sports U and Rio, so that's why I think they called it that. But I mean, yeah, and then we ended up just combining. So
But anyways, like if I'm at Team Rio and then I hear, all right, sports you like they're gonna merge a thing, I'd be like kind of scared just because I'm thinking unless there's gonna make like a team of like 20 something guys, like I mean I'm sure some guys got like cut and stuff like that.
yeah, unfortunately, there was people that got cut. There was only there because I was on the 16th team this year, so there was only 8 guys on my team, and so like 3 came off the bench, and then like there was the starting 5. So it was like you know
There were 8 guys on your Team Rio team, and that was it.
8 guys on on our Team Rio University A team, and that was like all the top guys. It was like the top guys from Rio and the top guys from Sports U.
Oh, I'm not even the top guys. It's like the top like player pretty much on both things. And I ask 8 guys on a team, and that's it.
Because I mean, you don't want any more than like 8 or 9, because then if you think about it, it's like minutes and stuff like that. If like when you have 8 guys, it's like you just have a simple rotation and everyone's like playing, everyone's good, stuff like that. You trust everybody. So I mean, it was good that we only had 8 guys on our team. To be honest, I thought that was
And
yeah.
I haven't done like much research, I guess, on counting like how many guys play on each team, but I guess it does make sense. Like on every big circuit team,
Yeah.
like any team in the UAA, any team in 3SSB, excuse me, any team in EYBL, do they all have a small amount of guys? Because like are there no like bench warmers on an EYBL team or a UAA team or something like that?
I mean, in the teams I played for in the past, I played for the Wrens when I was in like 8th grade, and I do remember there being maybe like 13 guys, stuff like that. And
Yeah,
like playing.
I thought at least like at the high school level. Like I mean
Yeah.
that was middle school, so that's kind of
I mean,
different.
like, in like a high school basketball game, like there's probably like 15 guys on the roster, right? And there's probably like a 7 or 8 man rotation, right? So like the other guys that are on the bench and they're just not really playing, not getting rotated into the game, and it's like so for an AAU team, it's like if they're not playing, like if you're not playing on an AAU team, like then and you're just like riding the bench the whole time, like there's really no point of being there because you're not going to get noticed. You're not going to like the whole point of AAU is to get noticed by coaches and obviously to have fun and play basketball, but like the whole point of AAU is to get noticed by coaches and stuff like that. So it's like if you're riding the bench on an AAU team, you shouldn't be playing for that AAU team. Simple as that.
Yeah, I guess like the one thing I could think of is I'm sure like playing, being a bench warmer and being like a practice player for EYBL team is probably equivalent to being a star on like just a normal non-circuit team. So I guess that's maybe like wise for at least like the better practice stuff. But yeah, that does make sense because it's almost like you're paying all this money. That says us it's like all right, fine, sit the bench. I mean, fine, like you could pay us for you to sit on a chair the whole time. Like I'll take it. But yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And just how has the recruitment process been for you? Being in 2022, obviously, not too much you can really do. This AAU season. You said you played in a few tournaments. Just how's that all been?
It's been good. So I've had like I'd say there's 2 schools that's been reaching out to me a lot recently. Has been Yale and Hofstra. Um, and then I've gotten interest from like Stanford, Arizona State, Miami, Pepperdine, most of the Ivy Leagues like Penn, Harvard, Columbia, Brown, Dartmouth, Yale. But yeah, but I'd say the 2 schools that are recruiting the hardest right now are probably like Hofstra and Yale.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. And it's like, how do you like talking to coaches, being recruited? You already got an offer from oh
Oh
shoot,
yeah.
sorry, I forgot my computer on do not disturb. I thought, but yeah, like, how do you like talking to coaches, just handling all that, kind of like seeing almost it's almost like you're kind of like finding out like how your future is gonna be,
Yeah.
ahead of time. Like I don't know which schools have a better chance of me going to besides like looking on their website and seeing like okay, like maybe the school would accept me, but I'm not having a school tell me like we're interested in you or
Yeah.
we offered you come here anytime. Like how's it
I
like kind of seeing your future?
it's like a good feeling. I mean, I've gotten obviously like a lot better at talking to coaches. Like, the more you do something, the better you get at it. So it's like, I've talked to a lot of coaches in the past couple months since June 15th, which was the deadline when they can start calling you. I've talked to a lot of different coaches. But it's good, like just building up relationships with them and like, you know, them, like expressing interest in you and taking time out of their day every day to like call you and text you and stay in touch with you and build up a good relationship with you. The unfortunate thing about all this is that you can only pick one school, so it's like it doesn't matter how many schools are actually recruiting you. You have to like at the end of the day you can only pick one, and of course it's good to have options and stuff like that. But yeah, it's great. Like with them expressing interest, and it's a good feeling to think about your future and stuff like that. But for me, I'm just I just want to stay humble and keep working and be the best version of myself I can be. So yeah.
And you brought up like after every as long as you keep doing something like repetition makes you better, maybe with shooting, school, anything, the more you do something, the more you practice, or the more perfect practice you get, the more perfect you're going to get.
Yeah.
Because just going like shooting a basketball the wrong way isn't going to do much for you.
Exactly.
For example, but you mentioned talking to coaches on how I guess you got better at it. Like can you talk about that more? Like
Yeah.
how you're able to learn how to properly talk to a coach, and what's that like?
Yeah. So like at first I was kind of like, oh, like what do I do if like a coach calls me and stuff like that? And then like I kind of realized, and I thought it was gonna be like way more formal and stuff like that, way more proper. But like when they call you, it's kind of like they're like a basketball junkie as well. So they just call you and they're kind of just like, they kind of just talk about you. They talk about their school. They express the interest in you and stuff like that. And it's like they talk, and then like after that, they'll just talk about like basketball and stuff like that. And they'll just, so it's like I think going into it before I actually started getting calls from coaches, like I was overthinking it a lot. I was like, oh no, like what do I say? I need to have this whole thing, like whatever. Like, yeah, it's good to ask questions and stuff like that. It's good to maybe like think about what you want to ask the coaches and stuff. But I mean, now it's like, for me, it's just like I talk to them like they're, just regular people. And it's just like, and it's easier now. It's like I don't get all like worked up and I don't overthink it and stuff like that. It's just like I'm talking to, another basketball coach, like, so.
Yeah, and I guess the easiest part, like this is human nature. Like if a coach is calling me, like they're just gonna talk to you and make you talk about yourself. Like you can't get much easier than that. Like
Yeah, you just gotta talk about yourself. Like in this interview,
yeah, exactly. Like it's not that hard. Like, you need to worry about what I'm gonna say. They're gonna ask you a question about yourself.
Exactly.
Like no one knows yourself better than yourself.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, and I don't know if you could share this, maybe like a little more bias, but who's maybe like some of the cooler coaches or people around basketball that you've spoken to? Maybe even just to kind of like so there's no like rumors, like even outside of the recruitment process, like just who are some of the cooler like people in the basketball and sports world that you've been able to have a conversation with?
So one of my mentors, I don't know if you know who this is, but Rick Barry, he's been one of my mentors since I was like 10 years old. And he's like helped me out. He's actually helped me a lot through this whole like recruiting process. He played in the NBA, played for the Golden State Warriors. I think he's like top 50 greatest basketball players of all time, but he's been a mentor of mine since I was like 10. And he's one of the cooler people I've met in the basketball world. He was actually friends with my grandfather, who was also in the NBA. But yeah, so that's kind of how I know him and stuff like that. But he's been helpful towards me with this whole process as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I think he may have went. Did he go to UM?
Yeah, he went to Miami. Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually, well, I feel kind of bad for saying this. Like I saw him in person.
Yeah.
Like I feel like going up to get a picture with him, but like they literally like this was a homecoming game like for basketball. Like obviously like it wasn't like the football's like the important part.
Yeah.
And it was the beginning of the season. Like they played like FAU, like whatever, like no one was there. But they sat him like he wasn't in like a club or anything. It's like I think it looked like he like bought his seats too. Like that's a little bit embarrassing on their part. But yeah, I remember seeing him there. My dad's like, "You want a picture? Like, go get a picture." And
Yeah.
I'm no offense. I just didn't feel like it.
I think his jersey might be retired there too. I think
It is. It is. That's how I knew he went there
yeah, I
because
think
it's on the
yeah.
in the thing.
And his son played at Florida, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so. Is he like are you like super close to him? Like, do you talk to him a lot, or was it kind of like just a one time conversation?
No, yeah, I talked to him a good amount. I talked to him like when he's basically said that anytime I need advice, just to hit him up and stuff like that and call him. But he's been like I consider him like a mentor to me, pretty much. But yeah.
And I'm not going to say like he's an old man, but obviously, he's not. It's not like he like just retired from the NBA, or he's maybe still in the NBA or like playing overseas. I mean, his career's been long gone. What's like getting advice from someone where I guess the best way I could say is what's like getting advice from someone I played in a different era of basketball, where it's probably somewhat the same, but at the same time nowhere near the way it is today.
I mean, the advice that he gives kind of makes sense to me because at the same time, even though he did retire a while back, his sons, most of his kids played in the NBA. His youngest son played for the University of Florida. So, I mean, like he's been around the game and he's obviously, led them in the right direction and stuff like that. I think one of them played for the Spurs, Brent Barry. I know one of them played for the Clippers. But I mean, taking advice from him, it's like, I mean, he's a top 50 greatest basketball player of all time. So it's like when you have someone like that in your corner, talking to you and stuff like that, then it's like, you listen to them. It's like, so, but yeah, I mean, it's really like, it really, the fact that he played in a different era doesn't really, I mean, when he gives advice, it's just, it's still always helpful,
Yeah, I guess because I maybe should have asked this before. Like, if you don't mind sharing, like, what sorts of things do you ask him? Do you ask him like almost recruitment questions, or maybe like how do you kind of do this on the court? What sorts of questions are you asking him?
So one of the first things he told me to do is send me like videos of myself and stuff like that, like mixtapes and stuff like that. And then he would kind of like he would kind of like give me advice on things that like I haven't heard and stuff like that, like your first step is quick, but you should make your second step quicker and you'll be able to get by your defender a lot faster, stuff like that. And it's just like, but like when he says stuff like that and it's just like, you think about it and he's like, yeah, that could give me a really big advantage and I'm on the court too. Or stuff like, even stuff like when I want to ask him like what's going to go in my decision when I choose a college and stuff like that. It's like, where you could fit in best academically, where you can fit in best athletically, stuff like that. I mean, it's just like it's just that type of stuff. And like, I don't normally like, he normally like he'll actually reach out to me a lot too sometimes, and he'll just be like, I heard about this, heard about that, and like just talk to me about stuff. And it's just like he wants to know where my mind's at and stuff like that. So it's like, I mean, yeah, it's cool to have him in my corner though, for sure.
Yeah, and just the cooler part, like whenever a player reaches out to me first, I mean that always feels good. Like when it's somebody kind of big time, like seeing how you're doing or asking you a question about something, like that always kind of makes you feel better. Like just how well does that feel knowing? I mean, one, it's super good knowing he's kind of at your disposal. At your disposal. You text him, he's gonna respond. He's not gonna like leave you, like, be Hollywood or something like that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's nice in itself. But when he hits you up on his own, when he's thinking of you, just how much better does that feel? Like knowing a guy like that, again, one of the top 50 greatest players in the NBA, like thinks about you. Sometimes when you're not even thinking about him, sometimes like just how does that feel?
No, yeah, it's definitely really cool. It's definitely really cool. I mean, yeah, because as I said, he's been very helpful to me with like the recruitment process, with just bettering myself as a basketball player and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really cool for sure.
And just out of curiosity, let's say I asked you, like, is there anything else interesting about you, either like with basketball or outside of basketball, like before we did the interview? Would you have told me that, or is that kind of something you almost keep low key sometimes?
I mean, I don't really keep it low key. I mean, no, I mean, not many people know that, I guess. I mean,
yeah. But I guess like, how would it fit in the conversation?
I just thought it was relevant to say. I feel like when you asked about like if there's anybody close, I was like, yeah, it's him pretty much because I'd like talk to him about that stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost glad I asked. I mean, that was super cool. Like I think so. My dad's mom, so I guess my grandma, I think she was at UM when he was there. Like they were in the same graduating class, I think.
So, yeah.
Yeah, not like my dad was alive to like watch him in the college or something like that. But yeah, I guess I don't know. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when Miami, like, I guess, showed interest in you, did he have any role in that? Like, was he maybe even the guy that kind of reached out and told you that, or was it just kind of all Miami on their own?
I think, yeah, they reached out to me at the deadline. Honestly, though, I haven't really heard from them in a while, but they reached out to me at the deadline. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, did you tell him, like, guess they're interested, and he kind of like, he say anything about that, or?
Nah, he did reach out to a couple people for me though, but yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, if he was kind of the one saying, like, yeah, coach of Miami just want me to let you know, like,
Yeah.
or something like that. I don't know, just because he knows you went to the school. And is there a certain, like, conference or maybe crap, what? Yeah, like, is there a certain conference or even like conferences that you like want to play in at the next level?
I mean, I don't really. There's a part of me that kind of wants to play like in the West Coast, right? Like in the Pac-12 or something like that. But I'm not sure really. I mean, I'm just gonna like for me, what's gonna come down to my decision is like where I could fit in best athletically and academically, and where I could just excel as a leader, as a on the court, off the court, in the classroom, stuff like that. But I don't really have a dream conference. I feel like, but yeah.
Yeah, I get it. And why? Like, what is out the West Coast? Like, have you like just travel there a lot or something like that, or why?
I honestly just like the warm weather and stuff like that, and I like where it's like 90 degrees all year round and stuff like that. Like I'm that type of person where it's like I like the warm weather, but yeah.
Oh yeah, because I didn't realize, like, yeah, it's probably how cold is it up there right now?
Right now it's probably like 40, 50 each day.
Man,
It's not like
crazy.
And that's not even that bad for right now, to be honest. Like it gets a lot worse. It gets a lot worse.
Yeah, so when you're like, or I don't know, I'm assuming you're still like probably not a person. Like when you do go, oh wow, it's actually cold here too. It's 73 here.
Yeah, no, if it was 73 here, we'd be living life.
Yeah, no, that's kind of cold. I might even step outside and see how. Yeah, that's.
It'll be 73. Like not in the summer, it's like 80s, 90s, stuff like that. When it's cold, it's cold. When it's hot, it's hot. It's like that's how it is in Jersey.
Yeah, and let's say like tomorrow, let's say everything was like normal. You have to go to school and all that stuff. Like when is that temperature? Because I know if I get that low in Florida, my mom like they might even like cancel school to make sure we don't like get any like sort of sick. Actually, they won't cancel school, but one time they sent out like a message for everyone to hear, like make sure you guys are dressing up, like all warm and all that stuff is gonna be super cold. But for you being in New York or New Jersey experience with like all that weather, what would you wear? I guess you have to go to school in like 35 degrees.
If it was 35 degrees, I'd wear just pants, sweatshirt, and probably a jacket over that or something like that. No, maybe if it was 35, probably just pants and a sweatshirt, just like a warm sweatshirt.
Yeah, it's because my friend that lives in New York, and he lived like near Westchester, New York, I guess, like around the area. Like that was like his airport.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it's like a problem with pants. He would wear no matter what it was. I think if it was kind of cold, he'd wear a long sleeve shirt, but shorts year round. That's what he'd wear. It'd be negative 10. Oh no, I think he skis, and during skiing, I think it was like snowing, like blizzard, and he sends me a picture and he's like, I was wearing pants and got too hot, and he's like wearing just one long sleeve shirt and shorts and like negative like 10 degrees.
That's funny.
Funny. He's pretty. I mean, I don't know. He's just kind of like that. But it's again talking more about basketball. It seems like you spend a lot of time with Cole World Training. So what have they done for you in your basketball playing development?
Yeah. So about 6 months ago, I think this was like the beginning of quarantine, like mid quarantine or something like that. This trainer hit me up, and his name is Jason Cole. And he hit me up and he was like, look, I have a gym and stuff like that, and it's open. And I have, these 3 other pros that come in with me and work out. If you want to come out, let me come and train, let me know. And honestly, like there was no other person in Jersey, or I think like, anywhere that had like a gym wide open like during this time. So I was like, yeah, for sure, I'll pull up. Like, and I came to the first workout, and he had Riley Elkins, who played for the Chicago Bulls last year. He was in the gym there. Joe Toussaint, who's the point guard at Iowa. And it was just like the three, and then me. And it was just the three of us, and we were just like working out. And he was like, all right, well, we do this every single day. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm gonna come with you guys and do this because it's like, I don't have anything better to do. Like, I got to get working anyway. So it was like, so basically it started then. And then ever since then, I've just been, working out with Cole, and he's done right by me. Every day the past 6 months, I've just been in that gym. That's where that picture is taken too. But I've just been in that gym, working out. And, I've gotten way better since, my sophomore year, or since, before I started working out with him. I've built up my body since being with him. He like gets me in the weight room and stuff like that too. Put on about 12, 15 pounds of muscle. And he's definitely helped me sharpen up my skills and stuff like that. Especially like he brings in like overseas pros, some NBA pros, D1 guys all the time to like go up against me and stuff like that. And it definitely sharpens my skills and stuff like that. And he's been huge for my development though in the past 6 months.
And like he reached out to you, like you never like knew who he was before. It was almost like you were kind of.
I knew who he was before. I would train at. There was this gym I would train at with my friend, and so his dad had this gym, and we would always go there and work out after school, and so this guy Jason was always at that gym too, but he wasn't training us. He would like train like his group, and we would be on the other side training, and like I knew who he was through that just by.
I don't know. I think you were telling me like when you train with him.
Oh yeah. So basically it's pretty much every single day. So I'll wake up in the morning sometimes before school. We'll go to the gym, we'll lift, and then like I'll get shots up and stuff like that. Go to school and then come back after school.
Real quick, you'll like lift and then shoot.
Yeah, so I like to lift before I shoot and stuff like that. So that way like
terrible. I hear that's like terrible.
It's better honestly because once you lift it and then you shoot, it kind of like adapts, whatever you just did for those muscles and stuff like that. So normally like sometimes I'll just, work out and I just have a, regular basketball session and stuff like that. But like sometimes I'll lift before that, sometimes after, it depends. But yeah, so sometimes I'll go in the morning. I normally go around twice a day, every single day. And so, and like, I know it like may seem like a lot, but it's like, there are days where I'll take off and go easy on my body and stuff like that. But I'll wake up in the morning, get shots up with him, train, go to school, come back later, then we'll get like a full like 2-hour workout. And, so yeah, he's been great though. I've been going back every single day. So yeah.
So like you really like have you taken any days off where like not where you went and kind of took it easy, like where you didn't go?
Not really. So what happens is like my day off will be like go to the gym and just shoot, just like not do anything like crazy, not even like sweating that much, just like go to the gym and just shoot and just like stay consistent and stuff like that. Like that'll be my day off type of thing. You know what I mean? Cause it's like, obviously I want to, get better, get bigger, get faster, get stronger, stuff like that. And it's like, if I'm not doing that, I'll be doing my schoolwork or I'll, be hanging out with my friends, something like that. So it's like, so I, just make sure to find time every day to get to the gym for at least 2 hours, something like that. And just, work out and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. I just can't believe like once he hit you up, I mean, you went, I guess you were like hooked, haven't stopped since like that. That's just, and it's been going on like the varsity has been going on for a long time. Like it's,
yeah. I mean, the reason I just kept on coming back was because I was just getting so much better. I felt the progression just working out with him just after like a couple weeks. And I was just like, if I do this for however long, or if I just keep doing this and just stay on this grind, like I feel like I could, reach my potential and where I think it could be at. So, yeah.
And I understand, like, I guess your body's gotten better in terms of, maybe got a little bit heavier, a little more bigger, all that stuff. But in terms of this basketball itself, like what's been your biggest improvement with that?
I'd say my ball handling. Definitely my ball handling. Like I was always like a solid ball handler and stuff like that, but like I was like a ball handler where it was like I could handle the score and stuff like that, and like that was about it. But like I feel like now it's like my full like repertoire is like a lot deeper and stuff like that. I have a deeper bag. I have more moves and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it was definitely my ball handling, and probably my shot got. I think my shot got a lot more consistent because really, what I was like, sometimes I'll just go there and shoot, and, I'll just get shots up, and it's like stuff like that. So I think I definitely got more consistent with my jumper too, for sure.
And with that, obviously, I mean, I'm not gonna say like new and improved. Like you're probably super good last year. I mean, look at your mixtapes. Like you obviously one of the better guys on your team, but just now even better than you were last year. And it's clear, like what you said. What are your goals for the season?
My goals for the season, if we have a season, to score my 1,000th point. I think I'm like 200 points away. To win, I would say, well, normally I would say to win 20 games or over 20 games, but we're probably only going to have like maybe tops 10 or 15. We really don't know what to expect for the season. So, I mean, but like, and then to win the Jamboree, which is like this thing we have in Jersey, it's just like this like tournament in Jersey and stuff like that. It would be to win the Jamboree, which I'm sure we're not going to have either. But yeah, and the 1,000th point. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, luckily for you, you're saying like we're not gonna have this, not gonna have that. I mean, but at least as of now, you still got your senior year left. So
exactly, yeah. Yeah,
luckily,
I'm fortunate enough that like I'm not a senior. I mean, I feel bad for the people who might lose out on their senior season and some of that, but it's like it's a tough time for everybody. So it's like everyone's being affected by this in some way. So yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of why like it's not a big deal. Like everyone's, like something's been canceled for everybody. Like don't make it seem like the one thing that you were looking forward to got canceled, and like you're the only one like going through something. Like everyone's got something canceled. So
yeah, I feel like I'm fortunate enough to just be getting in the gym every day and getting better. So I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have that, and a lot of kids don't have that. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And moving on, instead of the goals from this season with your high school career overall, what are those goals looking like?
For my high school, I would say be the all-time leading scorer at my school, which I think I'm on pace for doing. I think I'm on pace for that. Be the all-time leading scorer. Commit to a D1 school. And yeah, and just like I feel like I just to like leave like a legacy that like people look up to and stuff like that like little kids will be like oh yeah, I remember him, but like and just, like not just be known as like a basketball player, but be known as like a guy that like everyone loved off the court, and everyone that was great on the court and stuff like that, and like just to like inspire others and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's my main goal.
Yeah, it's definitely a super cool. And before we end the show, is there anything you want to plug or anybody you want to shout out?
Nah, not really.
All right, man. Sounds good. Well, anyways, make sure you guys give us a follow on Instagram at should be like Davo Mage. Like, it's still like it's DAVO and then MAGE. Then I'm at iHoopsFL. And anyways, for 2022 combo guard, David Major, I'm Isaac Fleischer, and this has been another iHoopsFL interview. Peace out, guys.